Why should I be using GitHub? For builders, GitHub is more than just a place for us to store code. GitHub can be used as an IDE. It can be used as a place to collaborate with other developers, showcase your portfolio, and help manage many code adjacent workflows. If you're using GitHub Actions to deploy or to automate, your CI/CD process, if you're using the issues feature to keep track of, potential enhancements to your project or potential bugs that it might have, this is why you want to use GitHub. And it's one of the de facto standards for source code management inside of the industry. If you're thinking about GitHub or even GitLab, these tools are built off of Git. Git is the actual source control tool that allows you to, make a commit, to roll back a change, to merge different versions of code developed by different people, right? A lot of that is coming from the Git tool, but GitHub or GitLab just builds on top of that just to give you a better user experience, give you a little bit more functionality that you wouldn't usually get from that simple Git tool. It's incredibly important to be familiar with GitHub because if you're going into any technology adjacent role, you're likely going to have some exposure to Git or Git repositories, especially if you're a developer, if you're in some type of uh, security or cloud role, you want to be familiar with something called GitOps. And it's the concept of having all of our technology and our software being defined through code and being auditable through some type of Git process, some branching strategy. And that is all going to rely on Git or GitHub, GitLab, whatever tool you use. I was about to say Bitbucket. I don't think people really use Bitbucket anymore. And I think that was a potential tool. Azure DevOps is also another tool in the space, but pretty much the standard is in the technology industry that people have, especially if you want to be a developer, you have a GitHub repository, you have a GitHub profile, and that you are sharing the things that you build, that you are familiar with creating a PR or a pull request, that you are familiar with contributing to a repository, that you are familiar with, uh, checking out a branch, right? Cloning a repository and being able to create a new branch and updating some code on that branch and being able to push it back out to that source code repository. If you're not familiar with that, then you are not meeting some of the like bare minimum standards that are going to be required for a developer, for an engineer, and that's not where you want to be. So definitely make sure you are familiar with GitHub and how to use it, right? You look into open source projects, look into how other people are writing their code. That's one of the benefits of GitHub too, right? Not only can you showcase your code, but you can also get, firsthand access to some of the most masterfully created projects in the world, right? Kubernetes is a open source project. Terraform is an open source project. These are enterprise grade code bases that you can actually see what the commits look like. You can see what the code looks like, how it's organized, what comments are in there, how people are naming variables and functions. You can see what the issues are and how those issues translate to pull requests. You can really learn in open from these people that are really the OG developers and very experienced developers in our space. And that learning is uh, the value of that learning is immeasurable. You can actually really grow as a developer by just exploring GitHub and the things that are available there.